ذلك بأنه كانت تأتيهم رسلهم بالبينات فقالوا أبشر يهدوننا فكفروا وتولوا واستغنى الله والله غني حميد. زعم الذين كفروا أن لن يبعثوا قل بلى وربي لتبعثن ثم لتنبؤن بما عملتم وذلك على الله يسير. فآمنوا بالله ورسوله والنور الذي أنزلنا والله بما تعملون خبير. يوم يجمعكم ليوم الجمع ذلك يوم التغابن ومن يؤمن بالله ويعمل صالحا يكفر عنه السيئات ويدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب النار خالدين فيها وبئس المصير. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله ومن يؤمن بالله يهد قلبه والله بكل شيء عليم. وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن توليتم فإنما على رسولنا البلاغ المبين. الله لا إله إلا هو وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم وإن تحفوا وتصفحوا وتغفروا فإن الله غفور رحيم. إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم. فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا وأنفقوا خيرا لأنفسكم ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. إن تقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا يضاعفه لكم ويغفر لكم والله شكور حليم. عالم الغيب والشهادة العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Jazakallah, brother Wasim, brother Zahir Wasim. One more last salawat for him. At this time, I'd like to invite brother Mohsin for recitation of poetry with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ale Muhammad.
बानों कहाँ,
कहाँ तलाश,
कहाँ तलाश,
करे अपने लाल को जंगल में मार डाला है ज़हरा की आल को बानो कहाँ तलाश ज़ैनब के साथ रोती है सब मिलके बीबियाँ ज़ैनब के साथ रोती है सब मिलके बीबियाँ जब देखती थी रोज़ वो वक्ते ज़वाल को बानो कहाँ तलाश शबीर दिल को थाम के गश खा के गिर पड़े हाँ शबीर दिल को थाम के गश खा के गिर पड़े देखा जो खून में गर्क नबी के जमाल को बानो कहाँ तलाश शबीर मेरे पास है सदके को बस यही हाँ शबीर मेरे पास है सदके को बस यही झूले सिला के दे दिया बानों ने लाल को बानों कहाँ तलाश करे अपने लाल को जंगल में मार डाला है ज़हरा की आल को बानो कहाँ तलाश बर मोहम्मद व आल मोहम्मद सलवात
Jazakallah, Brother Mohsin. One more loud salawat, please. At this time, I'd like to invite Brother Hassan Kanani for recitation of poetry with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
भारती कर सलावत अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते ताऊ मेरे समाए रहे आँखों में वो मज़े 40 बरस 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते देखा था इन्हीं आँखों ने घर अपना उजड़ता देखा था इन्हीं आँखों ने घर अपना उजड़ता बेगुरो कफलाश शहीदों के ज़मीं पे बेगुरो कफलाश शहीदों के ज़मीं पे 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते गुजरे थे कहार जो बहुत पूछा जो किसी ने गुजरे थे कहार जो बहुत पूछा जो किसी ने शाम की शाम की शाम कहा सर को झुका के 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते क्या गुजरी दिले सैयदे सज्जादे पे उस दम क्या गुजरी दिले सैयदे सज्जादे पे उस दम जब लूटा गया बीबियों का मकना ऊंचा दे जब लूटा गया बीबियों का मकना ऊंचा दे 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते और किस मद में है हौसला जुज आबिद बीमार किस मद में है हौसला जुज आबिद बीमार माँ बहनों को जो देख ले बलवे में खुले से माँ बहनों को जो देख ले बलवे में खुले से 40 बरस रोते न क्यों आबिद मुझते पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
Jazakallah, Brother Hassan. Can I need one more loud salawat, please? Before I invite Syed Hadi Yassin to the member, just two quick announcements. First, just a reminder that due to the rising COVID cases and with our community members being affected, please remember that all attendance at CFK in person requires a mask. If you do not have one, we will provide one for you at the front door. Also, Jazakallah khair to the community members who have addressed that our live stream was low on the volume yesterday. Thank you for your feedback, and please continue to provide feedback as we're trying to deliver the most effective way, especially for our virtual members, so that there aren't any problems such as live streams ending or being deleted, so that everyone can benefit from our great scholars that come to CFK. With that, I would like to request humbly for Syed Hadi Yassin to ascend the member and to address the meeting tonight with this speech. And I will ask the brothers and sisters to please move as close to the member as possible with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم all together إن شاء الله. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. May Allah inshallah accept our prayers, our amal, our azah for Sayyid al-Shuhada inshallah, and reward us, all of us, for our presence tonight in this majlis. Recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our condolences on the martyrdom of our beloved Imam Zainul Abidin, Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam. First and foremost to the Imam of our time and to you all mu'mineen and mu'minat, inshallah. The life of successful people in this dunya usually are considered from one dimension. If you want to look at someone who is successful in business, you usually only go look at their life from the business perspective, from that job perspective. You read a book, what are their recommendation, and how is their lifestyle in order to become successful in business. You most probably would not look at other aspects of their lives. Well, this person was successful in business, but how about from other aspects of life? How about the personality? How about the marriage? How about the family around? How about the spirituality, right? That's how from one dimension we look at the person. Well, if you become that successful from this path that this person is recommending, would you ruin other aspects of your life or not? Usually people don't pay attention to it. And that's actually happened with the human regular lifestyles, that from one perspective someone can be successful, from the other perspective might not be successful. But when it comes to the life of Insan Kamil, the most complete human being, the role model, ma'soom, infallible, we should not look at it from that angle. We should not look at it from one dimension. We have to look at it from what? All aspects of it. When it comes to the life of Ma'asumeen, we have to look at their life from the beginning to the end, not just from one section. If I ask you, what do you know about the life of Imam al-Hussain beside Karbala? Anything you know? Well, if I ask you what you know about Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam beside the Karbala, that whatever even you know might be limited, how much do we know about Ahlul Bayt? What do we know about the Imams, right? From the beginning to the end. Because they are perfect from all angles and all aspects. When it comes to the business and financial aspects, they're among the best of the people in the society. Did you know that or not? Because anyone who needed help and support financially were referred to who? To Imam al-Ma'sum. The difference was that they were not attached to dunya and they didn't want dunya for themselves, right? Otherwise, financially, they were the best. Look at the life of Ahlul Bayt from the Amir al-Mu'minin, from the perspective of being the imam and the leader of the society, he's the best. Being the husband, he's the best. Sayyidah Zahra sallallahu alayha, from being the wife are the best. Being the mother are the best. No one can be better than them, right? Indeed, when you look at Karbala, Karbala is amazing because you can see all dimensions in Karbala to the highest and the most perfect level. If you want to see the best relationship between husband and wife, Karbala. We're going to give some examples. Between brothers and sisters, Karbala. Between siblings, Karbala. Between the imam, the commander and the soldiers, Karbala. Between the two soldiers, between brothers and sisters in Karbala. Between friends in Karbala, right? The best level you can find in Karbala. So they were perfect Ahlul Bayt from all aspects and all dimensions, not one perspective, right? Unfortunately, when some people they talk and they want to know about Ahlul Bayt, they just look at one aspect. Well, the life of Ahlul Bayt from what? From the spiritual perspective. MashaAllah, the dua and the munajat of Zayn al-Abidin. Okay, how about the other part of Zayn al-Abidin? The life of Amir al-Mu'minin, how about the personal aspects and life of Amir al-Mu'minin in terms of husband and wife? Then when Rasulullah asked Amir al-Mu'minin, how's your wife? The best of all people, asking the second most important people, from who? About the best woman in the whole world, in the whole alam, not the word, right? Both words. And he says, نِعْمَ الْعَوْنَ عَلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ. She's the best of all supporters to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Means from different angles. So we have to look at the life from the beginning. When it comes to the life of them, then the first questions, if I ask, is that what do you know, for example, in my muqaddamah and the introduction of my lecture, about the life of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam? Is it the one who was, na'udhu billah, just not feeling well in Karbala? And then for some reason he was not capable of doing that. And then after that he was under supervision of Bani Umayyah. And then what did he do? Well, I want you to think about it while I'm talking. What kind of imam is he in your mind? Actively. What did he do beside not feeling well in Karbala? Well, we heard the role of imam is a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the earth, right? So the imam is not someone who will be his power and role, the one that the hadith is saying, لَوْلَا الْحُجَّةِ لَسَاخَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِأَهْلِهَا. If the hujjah of Allah is not on the earth would swallow its resonance. The world is functioning because of the wujud of the hujjah of Allah. From the beginning of the world until the end, until right now, until the life of Rasulullah, right? You never find the world without having one hujjah of Allah, representative of Allah on the earth. Starting from the time of Adam, right? We have all 124,000 prophets all together. That's the sunnah of Allah. The insan kamil, the most complete insan, should be on the earth, right? And how come after Rasulullah, all of a sudden Allah says, you know what? No more of this tradition. No more, I don't want to have any hujjat on the ground. It doesn't make sense. Which is the most important time, the end, towards the end of the time, right? Until the end of the world. This is the most crucial time. So, when we look at it, so then it is important for us, Imam is not someone who will be imprisoned and his role will be imprisoned. Imam Kazim alayhi salam. Imam is not the one who will be in occultation and his role will be in occultation. No. As Rasulullah says, the Imam in ghaibah is like the sun behind a cloud, right? Still everything function because you have to have this sun. If you take it away, Imam is not the one, if it's under strict supervision, which among these 250 years of the time of presence of the Imam on the earth, the time of Imam Sajjad is one of the most toughest time, if it's not the toughest time. Because right after Karbala, you can imagine Ashura, how strictly they're supervising him, so nothing happened after that, right? But Imam is not the one who will be imprisoned in his power because of that. Imam Sajjad Shaykh Tusi, he's saying in his Rijal Tusi, he's saying 173 students Imam Sajjad had. Abu Hamza Thumali, you heard about him, right? Ali ibn Rafi, Jabir ibn Abdullah Ansari, they're the students of Imam Sajjad. But they do not let him clearly and directly talk to people and advise everything, right? Imam is finding a solution. Imam is creating a revolution in order to spread out the knowledge of Tashayyu and Shia and guiding people. Imam is not going to be sitting down and you're just in prison. Imam is starting the maktab and the school of dua by spreading the ma'arif and the teachings of Shia through the concept of dua. No one can tell him why you're praying, right? I hope you can get used to my style. When I say dua, I want you to go to deeper levels. Right? I'm going to take you somewhere else. I hope last night we got together and we noticed what we're talking about. So Imam is creating a strategy here. You won't let me go on the member to talk? I'll create a different strategy. You can't imprison me and my effect. And Imam is spreading the world everything about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the true Islam through the dua. Meaning that when you open the books of dua, when you book a Sahifa Sajjadiyah, you should look for the moments and teachings of sociology, psychology, spiritual aspects, anything in the dua. Imagine you get the most sophisticated device and phone, and the only thing you do is what? Call it. Well, you could get, with the simple phone with that. Why are you spending so much with that? You open the dua, the only thing you do, you just read the Arabic part, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which is very important. Don't get me wrong, right? But the only use of the dua kumaila you use is like, Allah Bismillah, the dua kumaila at night of Jum'ah, we have to. The most important thing is that to pay attention to the concept of this dua, because I am supposed to get my ma'arif, beliefs, aqa'id, psychology, sociology, everything I want from the concept of this dua. Or this time when you read the dua, pause, just read the translation. See what you can find about it. The whole ma'arif of Shia is in Ziyarah Jami Kabira. Just read it, you understand what is the Imam. The Imam is teaching everything through this concept and telling people. And Imam is standing in front of the culture of Umayya. Let me explain here. When we say Imam al-Hussain, he was in Karbala. Well, Imam Hussain was not one person in front of one person Yazid. This is a wrong concept to look at it. Imam Hussain, he's the head of the Maktab of Tawheed, is standing in front of the whole Maktab and Farhang and the culture of Kufr and disbeliefs. What do I mean by culture? From the beginning of the world, we have the culture of Kufr. By who? By Fir'aun, by Namrud. All these people, right? By Abu Sufyan, and 50 years after Abu Sufyan by his grandson Yazid. So he's a representative of that mentality. Why? Because Abu Sufyan, as soon as they took the power, or Bani Umayyah, it says, Ya Bani Umayyah, talaqafuha talaqaf al-kurah, wa la tasiranna la awladakum. Now that you get the ball of power, فَمَا مِن جَنَّةٍ وَلَا نَارٍ. Now that you got, Abu Sufyan is saying, you got the power, pass it to each other like a ball. There's no Jannah, there's no Nar, there's no news, nothing, it's all lie. The same guy that in Saudi Arabia, they put the madrasa in the name of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, Abu Sufyan, mashallah, right? And then his son, his grandson, 50 years after that, he says, لَعِبَدْ حَاشِمُ بِالْمُلْكِ فَلَا خَبَرٌ جَاءَ وَلَا وَحْيٌ نَزَرْ. Hashim Rasulullah, he played with power. There's no wahi, there's no, what is it? Is a maktab, is a culture, right? It's coming towards them. The same thing that Namrud and everything. Look on the other side. Imam al-Hussain is the head of the culture of Iman. Who is it? Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Isa, all these prophets, now it's in the hands of Imam al-Hussain, which is the most important. All prophets before, it looks like the seal of the prophethood was what? Crying for Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salatu wasalam. Something is special about Imam al-Hussain. So we see the confrontation of kufr and iman in front of each other. Why do I say that? Because that does not stop in Karbala. Kullu ardin wa kullu yawmin. Those who know that, let's just say it out loud. Kullu yawmin. Every day is Ashura. Every day you go out, you see yourself between the kufr and iman. My decision in life, at a school, friendship, marriage, parenting, everything is between these two. Because literally people of Kufa at the 61st of Hijri, don't think that all of them were barbaric, bloodthirsty people like Shimr and Khuli and Umar al-Sa'd. No. The majority were confused. The majority went in fitna. This big test, what are we supposed to do? We don't know what to do. On one side, Khalifatu Rasulillah. On this side, the son of Rasulullah. What should we do? Because they were not ready for that. See what I mean? They were not ready for that. My question to you, if the parents of the 60th of Hijri, not 61st, or before, 10 years, 20 years before, if they knew by their parenting, they are raising children that 10 years ago, 10 years after that, they will stand in front of the Imam of their time and they will behead the Imam of their time, don't you think they will be more careful with their parenting? What are we doing here? Karbala is over, so we're just mourning, so Mom still wants us to cry for him? Karbala just started. Ashura just started from the 61st of Hijri. And it will end by the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. Different look at the life, different look at Islam, right? If I don't pay attention my parenting, well, what makes me different than people of Kufa, the parents of Kufa? Oh, Maulana, don't make it difficult. We're in the United States. Oh, Maulana, don't make it difficult. We're in Kufa. Ooh, where's Medina? Where's Kufa, right? Hussain, come to Kufa. Come on. We already betrayed his father and his brother. He's not going to come to Kufa. Leave us alone. Let us live our life. 5, 10, 15 years after that, the Imam of the time comes and the parenting style is affecting the children to stand, behead the Imam of their time. Isn't it scary? Do you think all of them were born to be the killers of Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam? No. They became by the choices. But their lifestyle, they became among the killers of Sayyid al-Shuhada. This is scary. They decided. They chose that lifestyle. So Imam al-Hussain is the maktab of Imam al-Hussain. Is the That's why it's beautiful. It says, Islam is Muhammadiyul Huduth wa Hussainiyul Baqa. The Hudus, the Islam established by Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But the existence of Islam is with the hands of Imam al-Hussain. You want to see what? Take Muharram and Safar from Islam. What we left? Nothing. You see, that's why it's the culture. That's why today we're thinking about the same thing. That's why we have to look at ourselves from different aspects. Imam Sajjad by lectures, by dua, by everything, it's revealing the feature and the figure and the image of Bani Umayyah. Be careful. This is how they are. If I had time, another lecture, I'll tell you the strategy of the Bani Umayyah mentality. When I say Bani Umayyah, you're not going to go to 61st of Hijri. You're going to go from the beginning of the world until the end of the world, right? Now, I'm giving you a different doctrine here. We're switching everything now. We're not sitting here to talk and cry for 61st of Hijri, which we are doing. We're also crying for our souls. We're also being worried about taking the lessons from that time for our current time. That's how you make it practical. Last night, if someone asks you, says, what are you guys doing every year? We're thinking about ourselves. We're taking lessons from history. We're thinking and crying for Sayyid al-Shuhada. How come they had him in the middle of the society, in the middle of the territory of Islam, and look what they did to him. Not just one. 11th of our Imam, that happens. Because I think never Shia sat down together and says, let us this time analyze. So it would not happen what happened to Imam al-Hussain to Imam al-Sajjad. No, they didn't. Let's just cry. Let's get Qiyamah Tawabin, 5,000 people. Let's cry for Imam al-Hussain and go die for Imam al-Hussain. Brother, sit down, see what happened. Don't let that happen to Imam Sajjad. Let's just cry for Imam Sajjad. We made a mistake. Okay, brother, okay, I know what you want to cry. Cry and then sit down and see what you're going to do for the next one. No, we'll just cry. Someone was passing. He saw someone is crying. He says, brother, what are you crying? He says, I'm hungry. He had the bread in his hand. He sat down next to him and he started crying. He says, why are you crying? He says, because you're hungry. He says, give me a little bread. I will be fine. He says, no, I'll sit down next to you. I'll cry for you, but I don't give you the bread. Imam Hussain, I'll sit down and cry for you, but if you ask me to change my lifestyle, I'll sit down next to you and cry for you. Does it sound like some people's lifestyle? Yeah? Well, this parenting, this marriage, this lifestyle, this thing that you have, you need to be changed. Let me just cry for you. Don't get me wrong. Being sitting in the Majlis of Sayyid al-Shuhada is among the greatest. Let's not to be too liberal here and too open-minded here, right? Let's go back. The Majlis, according to our hadith, carpet of Majlis of Sayyid al-Shuhada is from the wings of Malaik and angels. Sitting in this Majlis, breathing in this Majlis is amazing. Hadith is saying one tear for Sayyid al-Shuhada come down, roll over your face, has the capacity to wash out all your sins. We have this. But again, it's like you have the amazing, most advanced device and you just want to use the most simple things from it. Imam al-Hussain Maktab is the one who changed Hur, going directly with the full speed to Jahannam within a couple of hours towards what? Today it says, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum fanafuza fawzan aziman ziyarat warisa. We wish we would be like you, Hur. Excuse me, you know who is Hur? The whole reason that Imam Hussain was stuck in Karbala is because of this guy. I always feel, bad to talk about it. It's about Hazrat Hur. He says, you know what? He's amazing. But I have to say it. He stopped everything. Imam Hussain said, all right, you don't let me, you guys send a letter to me to come here. Let me go back. He says, I didn't send a letter. I have to wait for Amir Ubaidullah to say what the... All right, let me go close to the water. No, Amir Ubaidullah says you cannot be close to the water. You have to stop here. He was the reason Imam Hussain couldn't have the tent next to the water. But in a couple of hours in Ashura, the maktab of Imam Hussain is so strong that changed him going towards what? The best of people, Imam Hussain says, among that I know is my shuhada of Karbala. This is the... You might not find that much power in Ramadan, with all the respect to Ramadan. But you see that in the maktab of Imam Hussain. This is the capacity. So do not look at it as a traditional way we're sitting here. Maybe traditional, yeah, but not culture things. That we're sitting here, we just have to cry for Imam Hussain and go. No, it's a revolution of Sayyid al-Shuhada. We're sitting here. What am I going to do again? When you tap on your chest, you cry for Sayyid al-Shuhada. Why do we do this? Why we have this tradition? Quran, Arsiya Salam, and then lecture. Qala Rasulullah, Ma'arif of Sayyid al-Shuhada, and then, hey, wake up. You tell your heart, wake up. Did you get it? That change that we have to bring, that different way that we have to look. And Imam Sajjad says, نحن أمان أمان أهل الأرض كما أن النجوم أمان لأهل السماء. The reason for the security of people on the earth are us, Ahlul Bayt. This security means what? You're created for what? When it says Allah nuru samawati wal ard, Allah is nur of the samawat, is the light of samawat and ard, is what? It's like this light. It's a guidance. It's the hidayat, which you find it in what? In nur of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's how we need to look in the different ways, Let me give you a hint. We mentioned last night, we have to start looking at deen from different perspective. Look at our religion, our rituals, our fiqh, our baqidah, our beliefs, our akhlaq, moralities, different perspective. Let's change everything. The way that we look. No, halal Muhammad halal ila yawm al-qiyamah, wa haram wa haram. Haram and haram of Rasulullah is haram ila yawm al-qiyamah, until the end of the day, and the halal is haram. No matter if you're living in the United States, or in Canada, or in Pakistan, Iran, doesn't matter. Halal is haram, haram is haram. Otherwise, the fiqh, Rasulullah was saying, brothers and sisters, you have to pray this way and do this type of things, except those brothers and sisters who live in the United States later on. And I think that's a huge insult. Some people say, in the West, are we so weak that because of change of location we can't control? How come when it comes to other people in the wrongdoings, they're so strong in their wrongdoings and they're not feeling ashamed? And when it comes to me doing the right things, I feel. وَتَلْبِسُ الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ. They give the clothing of batil to haqq. Look around, you see that, right? Look at how Imam Sajjad, he's looking at the concept of dua. Just giving an example, inshallah. Give more examples. If I ask you to define dua, the prayer, what do you define? Dua, supplication, how do you define it? I want you to think about it right now. What is the definition of dua? What is it? Asking. You see? That's true. A lot of us were thinking about asking for what? Our hajat. This is one of those having high advanced, device and using little things. You're right. Dua is partially for the asking for our hajat and requests, not all. Dua is for connection. Dua means to call. For da'wah is about calling, connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if I look at it from asking, and I'm asking you, you're not giving it to me, so I have issue with you. How long I ask you, why you're not giving it to me, right? But if I look at it from different perspective and angle, look how Imam is looking at it. Imam is saying that al-mu'minu min du'ahi ala thalath. When a mu'min prays, there are three different ways that happen. Three things happen to mu'min. Imma yudakhkharu lah. Either Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would save it for another time. Would not give it to him and her at that moment. Save it for another time. Day of judgment maybe. It's not good for you, sweetheart. Don't cry for it. I know better than you. You want an example? What if your 4-year-old son and daughter come and says, Mom, Dad, can you give me the razor? Would you give it to him? Yes or no? I can't hear it. Yes? What if he starts crying and praying, for the sake of Ahlul Bayt, give it to me? Would you give it to him? Please, can you hear me? Out loud. Yes or no? What if he recites Joshan Kabir out loud 3 times a night? Would you give it to him? Why not? Because I know it's not good for you. It's dangerous. Because my knowledge is dominant over your knowledge. That's how Allah says, you trusted me, you pray for it. Imma yudakhkharu lah. I'll save it for another things, another time. Maybe not now, another time. It's impossible that mu'min prays with the condition of dua and Allah doesn't accept it or doesn't answer to that dua. Acceptance, that's different. وَإِمَّا أَن يُعَجَّلَ لَهُ. Or Allah will give it to him. He says, okay, your hajat, there you go. Or وَإِمَّا أَن يُدْفَعَ عَنْهُ الْبَلَاءُ يُرِيدُ أَن نُصِيبَهُ. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not give it to him and take the bala and calamity away. Instead of giving that request, Allah would take the bala away from that person. Look how he's looking. How sweet is that? This person would never fall into having depression and issue and anxiety. Why? Because the way that he looks at Allah is not one-way direction. It's both ways. He knows he's in the connection and relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I talk, I get back. I know, I just trust him, whatever you want. Different way of looking at it. We have the azan before namaz. What does it mean? Every time, 5 times you have to say azan and aqama. Why? It's the moment, pause before, get ready before namaz, sit down, think, ponder, then enter. It's an excuse. Not that you come out of bathroom, Allahu Akbar, go to the, no, you're supposed to think about it. After namaz and salah, they said what? Pause. Do not shake hands. We don't have this in Islam. After namaz, you have to what? You have to, without talking to anyone or looking around, you have to do ta'qibat. Meaning that think about what you did after salat. Thinking, pondering. I said prophets came for what? Helping people to think. And guess what? Nowadays, we're not supposed to think. Why? Because we have many distractions. I'm not against this, by the way. I give a lot of examples. No, I have it, and I have a lot of... No, for the sake of this is taking my time, not being able to think. As soon as I want to have one-on-one time with who? With myself. I got to check my baby. Are you okay? Yeah. Have you seen, look at yourself. When you sit down somewhere with nothing doing, you have to check, make sure that it's alive. The first thing you check is your phone, right? Some of you guys, you're having your phone every other 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Alhamdulillah, it's still alive. Distractions, right? Whenever you want to have time with yourself, you're not allowed to have time with yourself. Changing the world. I need to have time. I need to pause. It's not just about working and working and working, coming home so upset, so overwhelmed. And then as soon as my wife says something, my husband says something, oh Allah, it's the beginning of the whole thing started, the fight. Another Karbala. All right? Of course, you work, you know how many hours? You're upset, this mind is can't. We need to pause. We need to think. We need to change lifestyle. That's why Imam al-Hussain was trying to tell people, you need to change your lifestyle. They didn't listen to him. Why are you coming out? What are you doing? What's your mission? لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاحِ فِي أُمَّةِ جَدِّ. This is not the lifestyle of my ummah, my Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You need to change it. No, Imam al-Hussain, we don't have time for changing it. Pause. Don't go too fast. Well, I see this every day. People around the world come talk to me. This psychological issue, that marital problem, that parenting issue, that things and things. One of the major things that I recommend to people, slow down. You're going too fast. You want to get there? When you get there, that you need to spend all things that you collected to get back to where you started. I had a friend, my father's friend. He was very older. One of the richest people in the city, if not the richest person in the city. One day I was in his house. I was young, probably, 15, 16. And I saw he was having food and lunch for us, and we were eating kebab and everything, right? And he had some salad, and not even regular salad, very limited things. He's like, do you see my food? See, I can't eat your food. I can buy the whole city, but I cannot eat your plate. I did my whole life work for this to be able to eat this. Now that I have money, I can't eat it. I'm not saying not to be ambitious to work for the best. Do it. But be careful. What is the cost of that? What are you destroying in order to get there? Otherwise, who is better than the Shia of Ahlul Bayt to be the best of everything? Best of everything, right? But understanding how they get there. Changing this view. It's one of the most difficult things, by the way. The lifestyle. You're sitting here, all of you guys and us, with different titles. Father, mother, children, husband, wife, in-laws, different things, teachers, IT guys, and everything, right? Think about what kind of issue you have, all of us here. If I want you to list them, which one do you put on top of the list? About your personal growth and improvement. Are you doing it now? Yeah? Are we doing it? While I'm talking, I want you to do it. What is on top of the line and the list? How long have you worked on it? Did you make it a target in Muharram from the beginning? If not in Muharram, then when? Are we close to it? I'm not saying the whole list, I'm saying number one, just one of them. That's what people of Kufa didn't do. They didn't go through reviewing themselves, self-reflection, muhasabah, to understand that, right? And say, what do we need to change? They didn't look at the Islam from that angle. And then we have on the other side, as I mentioned, Sayyida Zainab Samaiha, she's saying that, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. What I've seen is all beauties. She didn't say, I saw beauty. She says, nothing but beauty. What does it even mean? How she's looking, with what kind of lens and glasses she's looking at the whole scenario. What is it? It's just the bloodshed. It's just ugly parts of Karbala. It's just killing, beheading. What are you seeing that we cannot see? I don't know how many of you guys thought about this. We all enjoy this statement, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. But what does it even mean? Because as soon as I have a little bit of the issue in life, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, the whole scenario, oh Allah, don't talk to me, I'm so obsessed. I'm so angry, I'm so anxious, I'm so frustrated, oh, something happened here. ما أعظم مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. The biggest musibah and tragedy in Islam, no, in the samawat of ours, in the whole heaven and the earth, happen, and she says, Ma ra'aytu illa jamil. And that's not the time, na'uzubillah, God forbidding, Allah forgive me, to show off. 17 members of her family are beheaded in front of her, killed brutally. That beauty that she's talking about, there are the beautiful parts of the Karbala. Let me give you some examples. How she's looking at it. The most beautiful return Bazgasht is the return of who? Hur, back to the Khayma of Imam Hussain. It's the most beautiful return. Meaning that if I want to look at that beauty, the most important part for me is to return back to who? Tawbah. You know what is the meaning of Tawbah? Tawbah means just U-turn, to go back. When you miss an exit, you want to U-turn to come back. The most beautiful part of my life should be when I go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Isa, كم عطيل النظر وأحسن الطلب. Isa, sometimes Allah talks like, Ya Allah, you don't need me, I need you. Why are you talking to me this way? You know how long should I wait for my servant who is not even in touch with me? If you have family members, friends that are not practicing, just read them some of these traditions for them. How long should Allah is saying, Rabbul Alameen, who everything belongs to him. It says, Isa, do you know how long kam utilun nadhar, how long I'm looking for that servant to come? Wa uhsinu talab. You know what does it mean? Imagine a mother who her son is not coming, is late, she's going outside, she's looking around. This is uhsinu talab. I'm just waiting for my dear one to come back to me. Allah is saying this, yeah. How long should they wait? How long should they look for that servant? وَالْقَوْمِ فِي غَفْلَةٍ لَا يَرْجُعُونَ. And the qawm is in the negligence. They don't go back, don't come back to me. Isn't this God lovely to be worshipped? Isn't he so lovely to be just talked to? Of course, when Imam Ali look at this God so lovely, he wants to talk to him all night. But the God that some people worship, that sometimes he's somewhere just like, haram, I got you. I'm going to put you in the hellfire. I'm afraid of that God. I know there's a capacity of that, but I'm looking for this aspect a lot that Imam Sajjad is looking. The most beautiful request of a wife from the husband. Look at Karbala. Zuhair ibn Qayn, he's the one who, his caravan left Mecca at the same time that caravan left Mecca towards Kufa. He was going to Kufa. He's one of the billionaires of Kufa. He heard about Imam Hussain and Yazid. He said, wherever Hussain has stopped his caravan, we do not stop there. Either ahead of him or before him. I don't want to see him. This is one of the greatest shuhada of Karbala. Let me tell you what he says. Anywhere Hussain stops, I don't want to stop at the same location. Isn't it Karbala strange? He is the same person at night of Ashura says, Hussain, if we knew the world is going to be eternal, and we would live in this dunya forever, we still want to become shaheed for you. If they kill us 1,000 times, they burn us 1,000 times, we still want to come back and be killed for the sake of you. The same guy who didn't want to stay with Imam Hussain still want to see Imam Hussain. And when the love is going to work, it works. All of a sudden, in one location, they were all together. Imam Hussain sent a Safir and messenger, says, Zuhair, come, I'm going to talk to you. He said, no. He said, I don't want to go. I know what's going to ask. His wife made him heavenly. His wife says, woe to you. The son of Rasulullah is asking you to go and talk to him. You don't want to go? He awakened that chivalry. The best, most beautiful request of a wife to husband. And he felt bad. He says, let me see what Hussein is going to say. He left. History is silence. We don't know what happened there. When he came back, he says, you know what? I'm going to let you go with all money and everything. Khuda Hafiz, I'm going with Hussein. The most beautiful that Zainab is saying, the most beautiful wafa and loyalty is when Abu al-Fadl Abbas putting his head under the water and he drops it. Hada wafa, I don't drink it. The lips of Hussein are thirsty and I drink it. Ruqayya and Sakin are crying for, I can't drink it. It's the most beautiful wafa and loyalty. You can't find it anywhere else, in any books, in any movies, anywhere. The most beautiful war is the war of Battle of Aliyah Akbar. He's going, Imam Hussain is looking what my son is doing. Abu al-Fadl Abbas is looking. Abu al-Fadl Abbas is the teacher of the war of Aliyah Akbar. He taught him how to do. The most beautiful reaction, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila, is when Wahab Shem threw the head of Wahab towards his mother. She took the head, she went towards him, says, whatever we gave for the sake of Allah, we don't return it, take it. Do you know what that means? Do you know how much power and strength this lady should have to do that? When I say beautiful, you understand, I'm not talking about that ugly, barbaric act of Shem. I'm talking about the strength and the iman of this lady is the most beautiful reaction. The most beautiful answer in Karbala is what? كيف الموت عندك? When Imam is asking from, his nephew Qasim, how is death to you? He says, أحلى من الأسل. Sweeter than honey. This is the response of Maraj ulama. No, go to Anbiya and Awliya to answer this way. The most beautiful gift that you can find is Aun and Muhammad Zayd Zainab gives for Imam al-Hussein. And she doesn't even go close to it. She says, you guys go get permission. I don't want to come closer. I'm afraid Hussein would feel shamed in front of me. Any shaheed, Sayyid Zainab went off the Ahlul Bayt, Sayyid Zainab went and helped them, except her sons. She didn't go. She says, I don't want my brother to feel he's my son. I'm going closer. Power. When someone asks you, you're Muslim, you have hijab, for what? I'm so powerful. I'm so blessed and amazed to have that. Of course, I'm following this path. Yeah, you want reason, 1, 2, 3. If you want proof, this is what I'm doing. The most beautiful namaz is the namaz of Dhuhr of Ashura, which is a code. Imam Hussain could pray inside the tent, behind the tent, so he wouldn't lose some of his soldiers. He prayed in front of everyone to say, I'm fighting for this salat. And if I am purposely missing, God forbid, in this salat, I'm dismissing purposely. I'm dismissing the message of Karbala. The most beautiful speech is the speech of Zayd Zainab Salamullah alayha and Imam Sajjad in Kufa and Karbala. And the most beautiful defense in when Abdullah ibn Hassan, the little child of Imam Hassan, he came when that Mal'un wanted to hit the sword down. He came and he held his hands on the body of Imam Hussain. Says, I don't let you kill my uncle. And that Mal'un brought down the sword and cut the hand of Abdullah. Zainab sees this all beautiful. You know why? Because all this happened for the love of one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most beautiful. It's so much pain as well. To see the last moment that Imam Hussain came for Vida. Until the Shahadat of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, Ahlul Bayt are still. Close your eyes. I narrate, you go to Karbala. Let's promise each other, huh? I narrate for you, you close your eyes, you just picture what I'm saying. Until Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is behind the tents, everybody is calm. That's okay, you know, we have Abbas. But when he left, when the little daughters of Imam Hussain, they saw Imam Hussain is coming back, I don't know if he was holding his back or not. When they saw Amu is not coming, Baba, what happened to him? They knew that happened. They knew the Isarat is starting. They knew there's no one left for Hussain. Now it's alone. And when Zainab saw Hussain came for Wida and, you know, say farewell to Imam al-Hussain. When Imam al-Hussain is asking, oh, my sister, bring that old shirt to me. Zainab knows that's the last time probably she can see Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He said, children, Ruqayya, Sukaina, all of them, little ones, they grabbed the neck of their father Hussain. Baba, don't leave us. If you leave us, we're going to become yatim like children of Muslim. They said Hussain left in few terms. He was looking back at Qiyam. When Hussain was on the ground, they said with the corner of his eyes, he was looking at the Qiyam, meaning until the end, he's worried about his Qiyam and children. And one man is left in Karbala, Imam al-Sajjad. They said when he heard the voice of Imam al-Hussain, Hal min Nasir, he stood up. He said, oh my aunt Zainab, bring my sword. I can't tolerate it anymore. He stood up to go. Imam Zainab says, oh, son of my brother, sit down. You don't have to, you can't, you should stay. You're the Zakhirat of Imam. How tough and difficult for Imam al-Sajjad. Imagine, all Shuhada left and they gave their life for Imam al-Hussain. How tough is for Imam al-Sajjad. He's hearing every single voice of Karbala. He's seeing everything. He has to be tolerant. And he sees and he doesn't do anything for the sake of Allah. In Sham, one of the friends of Imam al-Sajjad, he said, I went close, I saw Imam, he's, says, you're a friend of us. Yes. Imam says, I have few requests. What is it? You have money? He said, yes. He says, go grab some, fabric, bring it to me. Give some money to these, people who are carrying the heads of Ahlul Bayt. Tell them to remove it from the face of children. I don't want them to see. He said, I brought some fabrics. I didn't know what Imam once said. When I brought it to him, he said, lift this chain, put it between the chain and my neck. He said, when I lift the chain, the blood came out of the neck of Asham, you know why? Because everywhere Ahlul Bayt and ladies, Khawateen, they went. Maharim were holding around them so no one can see them. But in Darwaza Asham of Kufa, the non-Mahram are clapping and seeing and watching the Khawateen of Haram of Rasulullah. They're clapping, they're throwing ashes and fire on top of the head of Ahlul Bayt. Maqtal is saying one of those ashes and fires went on the Imam of Imam al-Sajjad and burned it down. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله يا وعلى الأرواح التي حليت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله يا أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله يا آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Before you say the salam, go to Karbala, see Imam Hussain, see Ali ibn al-Hussain, see Ruqayya and Sakina, then say the salam. All together, Assalamu ala al-Hussain. Raise your voice, Shab Shahadat Imam Sajjad. Assalamu ala al-Hussain. حسين وعلى أولاد الحسين. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. Few dua inshallah before the mountain. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. بحق Imam Sajjad, hasten the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Us and our generation إلى يوم القيامة, let us be among the best of followers of our Imam. Make our children successful in dunya wal akhirah. Ya Allah, do not let anyone from our generation, the enemies of this path. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Those, my brothers and sisters, respected brothers and sisters, Zinat of Majlis of Imam Hussain and Imam Sajjad, give them all khair hajat. Those who are sick, cure them. Those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gathering to their souls. Matam Hussain.
सजाद जो क़ैदी की तरह है शाम चला है, सजाद जो क़ैदी की तरह है शाम चला है, सजाद जो क़ैदी की तरह है शाम सजाद जो क़ैदी की तरह है शाम चला है। हर हल्क़ाए ज़ंजीर में, हर हल्क़ाए ज़ंजीर में मातम की सदा है, सजाद जो क़ैदी की तरह है शाम चला है, सजाद में की तरह है शाम चला है, सजाद जो क़ैदी ला है। दफनाऊं मैं ज़ंजीरों में, दफनाऊं मैं कैसे, जकड़ा हूँ मैं ज़ंजीरों में, दफनाऊं मैं कैसे, लाशों की तरफ यास से, लाशों की तरफ यास से खड़ा देख रहा है, सजाद जो कैदी की तरह है शाम चला है, सजाद जो कैदी की तरह है शाम चला है। हर हल्क़ाए ज़ंजीर में, हर हल्क़ाए ज़ंजीर में मातम की सदा है, सजाद जो कैदी है, सज जो कैदी की तरह है शाम है। कहता है मुहारी ना हमें देखने आओ, कहता है मुहारी ना हमें देखने आओ, मखदूमाए कौनैन के मखदूमाए कौनैन के बालों की रिदा है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है शाम चला है। दी की तरह शाम चला है। सज्जाद है शाम है। जकड़ा हूँ मैं जंजीरों में दफनाऊँ मैं कैसे। जकड़ा हूँ मैं जंजीरों में दफनाऊँ मैं कैसे। लाशों की तरफ यास से लाशों की तरफ यास से खड़ा सोच रहा है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है शाम चला है। चला है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है। चकरा के गिरा जब भी लगने लगे कोड़े। चकरा के गिरा जब भी लगने लगे कोड़े। बीमार के जख्मों की बीमार के जख्मों की कैसी ये दवा है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है में चला है। सज्जाद चला है शाम चला है। सज्जाद ज़ैनब भर दरबार में अब जाएगी कैसे। ज़ैनब भर दरबार में अब जाएगी कैसे। बीमार सर शाम बीमार सर शाम खड़ा सोच रहा है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है में चला है। सज्जाद है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह है शाम चला है। बदली है ज़ईफ़ी में आबिद की जवानी। बदली है ज़ईफ़ी में आबिद की जवानी। उम्मत ने ये मजलूम पे उम्मत ने ये मजलूम पे क्या जुल्म किया है। सज्जाद जो कैदी की तरह शाम चला है। सज्जाद जो वो आबिदे बीमार था। वो आबिदे बीमार था। चलने से जो लाचार था। चलने से जो और शाम का बाजार था। और शाम का बाजार था। और मुस्तफ़ा की बेटियां मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन। मौला हक इमाम या हसन या हुसैन या हुसैन। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व अला
Brothers and sisters, there's a few minutes till Maghrib, so please do your wudu and we'll start namaz after adhan.
brothers on this row, please move one row up. This is a valid row.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. هي على الصلاة هي على الصلاة هي على الفلاح هي على الفلاح هي على خير العمل هي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله وأسأله التوبة. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار واحشرنا مع المتقين والأبرار. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك، لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم
Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for the interruption. One quick announcement. Syed, please apologize for the interruption after the etiquettes of Salat that you went over. I just have a message here from Sheikh Mehdi from Atlanta. On behalf of him, the CFK community, he wanted to make sure that we did thank you for coming here and blessing us with your presence for these last 2 nights. Our community greatly benefited from it. And to reiterate his words, we now understand that it's not easy for you to leave your family. So a big thank you for coming here and blessing us with your presence. And inshallah, we hope to see you in the future as well. For the safety, for Syed Hadi Yassin, and inshallah, Allah increases his blessings. Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا وأولاده المعصومين حجج الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح، حي على خير العمل، حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله وأسأله التوبة. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر
إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك سوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. يا جليل ارحم عبدك الذليل. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي، وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي، فأجول في تلبه البلدان، فأنا في معنى طالب كالحيران، لا أدري في سهل هو أم في جبل، أم في أرض أم في سماء أم في بر أم في بحر، ولا يدي من ومن قبل من، وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك، وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك. اللهم فصل على محمد وآله، واجعل يا رب رزقك لي واسعة، ومطلبه سهلا، ومأخذه قريبا، ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا، فإنك غني عن عذابي، وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك. فصل على محمد وآله، واجد على عبدك بفضلك، إنك ذو فضل عظيم.
عجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يا عصوب الدين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين، ومحمد بن علي، وجعفر بن محمد، وموسى بن جعفر، وعلي بن موسى، ومحمد بن علي، وعلي بن محمد، والحسن بن علي، والخلف القائم الحجة. صلى الله عليك يا صاحب الزمان، يا إمام الإنس والجان، يا شريك القرآن. الأمان الأمان ورحمة الله وبركاته.